We'll be going in just a few seconds, guys. Sorry. We've had to start a new session, and obviously that means we have to do the new grid. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again as we get another Kenco F1 Grand Prix underway. Today, we're at Silverstone, a track of 3.6 miles, one of the most iconic tracks on the calendar that's been there since the mid-1950s. It's got 18 turns today with some of the most notable names of Maggots, Beckett's, Chappell. All of the drivers are going to have to navigate this in order to get in the top fleets today. Keep your eyes out, because today is going to be a good one. Well, what about the grid, I ask you here? Well, we're getting onto that, because today, like a stuck record, Max Chapman on pole on the red mark soft tyres, and he's joined by the Ferrari of Titan. No change to those two positions from last week, but Matthew Whitterson with his best qualifying yet, P3, and he's joined by the other Ferrari, Torben Schutt, who was actually last week's victor. What a great race that was for him, but behind is once again a good qualifying for the Red Bull of Muster. Not too good for him last week, but Meek joined him. P7 and 8 is Salomon and Foxhall, Hartley and Robinson, both the Avataris on P9 and P10, that fifth row of the grid occupied by both of them, but Adam Forbes is best qualifying so far, and Archie Middelfeld joining him on the sixth row of the grid. On the seventh row of the grid is Robbie Welsh and Alex Rins. Not a great qualifying for both of those drivers, but both of the Mercedes drivers are behind them in the 15th and 16th position. Behind them is Nuts and Amara, neither of them getting a great time, but the other two drivers are the two who failed to start, both the Williams on the last row of the grid. It seems as though there are quite a few pairs of drivers today. Yeah, and as we did say, quite a few pairs of the teams there today on that grid, and one of the people who is going to be starting from the back is Amani Graham. Last week, both them, well, Williams cars had a suspension issue, and how will that affect today, Sam?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a pretty dull Silverstone, but hopefully not a dull race. Yeah, as you said, two Williams boys suffering from what we thought was a suspension issue. So we'll have to see that affects them this week. Hopefully, they will have got on top of the issue, which no doubt they will have done by now.
Good thing to see all of the drivers on the grid today, all 20 of them. So it's going to be interesting today, and hopefully a good race.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen all 20 drivers turn up for the race, which is really good. Hopefully some good racing from these today. We've obviously got some different strategies, most notably, by the looks of it, Robbie Welsh down in P13 starting on those hard tyres versus most of the field starting on softs and a few medium runners as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Amani Graham also on the soft tyres, so maybe a quick push from the start for him.
That could be in his mind. Obviously, he's in P20 at the moment, the last position. So those overtaking moves are going to be so important for him to get close to the front today.
I'm sure that Mercedes power unit of the Williams will make sure that he's got quite enough pace down that straight. But nonetheless, I digress. We talk about the tyre strategies, and it does look as though Renault are sort of pushing it out there.
Yeah, Renault obviously going for a different strategy with Robbie Welsh starting on the hards and Archie Middelfeld starting on those mediums. Obviously, Silverstone's quite hard on those tyres. So starting on the hard tyres could be what win the race today, potentially for Robbie Welsh, obviously starting in P13. So there's a little way to go, but we'll have to see. It's a good thing to see different strategies going on today.
The drivers are making their way to the grid, and Ian Hammore there at the back just making sure that he is in the correct position. He hasn't had the greatest look recently, but I'm sure he will be fine as we see Max Chapman in that pole position, getting ready to go here at the start of the Kenco F1 British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. The drivers are getting ready. Their cars, number 22 of Max Chapman is raring to go. And they're away from the line for the start of the British Grand Prix. The Ferraris get an amazing start. And Matthew Whitterson down there in P3. He's got a good start there as well. And into the first corner is Titan who leads.
Yeah, nicely done from Titan. He's got in front of that Alfa Romeo driver of Max Chapman. Not the best start from him by the looks of it. It was a pretty clean start so far.
And at the back, who's that? That's one of the McLarens going wide. Amara has gone wide. And into the first corner, we've had no collisions. But in the middle of the field, there is a yellow flag because Andre Abreu, down in the last position, has spun.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened there. Going through Village, it got very tight. I think 3 wide. That was a bit too much. And he has spun, as you said.
Joel Foxall making a position up on that start. He's in P6. But up at the top, Titan and Schutt challenging Chapman for the P1 position.
Yeah, very nicely done from Titan and the Ferrari of Torben Schutt currently sandwiching that Alfa Romeo driver. But a shout out to James Wilson in P12, had an incredible start. He's gained 6 positions just in the first few corners.
Now's when the driver's really got to extend those tyres, because there's not much overtaking that can be done now until the DRS comes open, and even then there'll be a train of the DRS open. So these drivers are really going to maximise these first couple laps. As a Forbes in P13, we said his best qualifying so far at P12. He is up into P13. He's lost 1 position on that start, but he's edging to get past that racing point.
Yeah, of course. It's a good start from Adam only losing 1 place this far, but that Red Bull behind him of Alex Rinso is getting incredibly close, and he's getting very aggressive to get past him by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's a good start from all of those boys, as Ian gets a 5-second time penalty as he comes into the pit lane. He has had damage on that first lap, but he sped into the pit lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there for Ian, obviously coming into the pits early. I did see on the start a bit of front wing flick up, so that's no doubt why he's decided to come in. He's coming on to those hard tyres.
It's interesting, because the hards definitely wouldn't go to the end. His front wing is being replaced. We see here a good stop here from the Mercedes boys. They fit that front wing in, and Ian is away. Slow release there from him. But, yeah, definitely odd strategy on this early to go onto the hards, because, well, he's definitely going to have to switch at the end.
Yeah, he's going to have to switch at the very far into the race by the looks of it. Maybe onto those soft tyres for a few quick laps at the end of the race.
And up at the front, we've got someone moving across. That's Matthew Widdowson moving across into the Copse corner. But he manages to keep the position in front of Meech. But Chapman has lost a position to Sholborn Schutt. So it's Ferrari 1-2 once again, like last week.
Yeah, I'm hearing Max Chapman's had an issue with his setup this week. He may not have been able to apply it. Obviously down in P3 at the moment, potentially struggling, with top-end speed, which is really important coming down this particular straight, which is the Hangar Straight.
Well, they've really got to maximise it, but their other car, Casper Meech, has just been overtaken by Joel Foxall, but that position has been immediately back down here into the Vale chicane. Foxall lets Meech past, but a close one there for them 2 drivers.
Yeah, it was getting very, very close between the Alfa Romeo and the Racing Point coming into Vale. I didn't think that Casper Meech was going to be able to retain P5, but he did.
Yeah, I mean, a good start from all the drivers. Both the AlphaTauri still maintaining in their starting positions.
Yeah, AlphaTauri in 9 and 10 at the moment, looking pretty strong. Obviously not the best qualifying for them, but P9 and 10 is pretty good as Casper Meech gets incredibly close to the Haas of Matthew Widdowson. But going back to the AlphaTauris, they're looking pretty comfortable at the moment. Dylan Hart has now got the DRS on Archie Middelfeld coming down towards one of the corners, and yeah, he's almost getting the overtake done, actually. So that's good stuff there.
Yeah, it's definitely the pace of those yellow medium tyres that are just holding the AlphaTauris up behind Archie Middelfeld. We do see a gap already starting to form, but with the DRS train that is now starting to form, and Middelfeld well outside of that, they should get an overtake coming down the Hangar Straight.
Yeah, you can see they're coming through Copse that Dylan Hartley's had to take a lot less speed than he was in qualifying, obviously with the much higher fuel loads. But coming through Chapel, he is gaining so much time on the Renault driver, and obviously now going to have that DRS. So is he going to be able to get a move done coming into Stowe? We'll have to see.
I can't believe it. Archie Middelfeld has somehow managed to gain a second to the car in front due to the pace of those medium tyres in this, the way that he's heating them up. And he also had the DRS, so no overtake there, but Welsh gets past Alex Rinser, and Meech past Middelfeld. Past Widdowson and into the final corner through Club, where we saw one of the Haas touch one of the cars back this year in 2020. We saw Magnussen go wide, get clipped by the Red Bull of Alex Albon, and both of those drivers make it through safe.
Yeah, that was very nearly that incident there, but Casper Mitchell gets very close to the Haas driver. The Haas driver sort of jolted to the right there, may have got a bit of oversteer coming out of the corner, but he's getting very close. It's Casper Meech. He's got that DRS now, but the Haas driver hasn't. He's going to really lose out to both potentially the Racing Point and Joel Boxall. Potentially a double overtake coming into Brooklands there.
And he's going to be early on the brakes to get round the inside, but Casper Meech is really, really hardly defending that. But what a beautiful double overtake there from Joel.
Yeah, that was so close for Joel, nearly taking both the Haas and the Alfa Romeo, but coming into Stowe, he's not going to be able to get that move done there. It's going to be a bit too aggressive, I think.
It's definitely confirmed that the setup that Racing Point is using is absolutely superb. He's managed to gain 3 positions on the start, one more of the driver in front of him, so obviously some good pace on the pink Mercedes.
Yeah, nicely done from Joel Fox, looking very, very strong behind the Alfa Romeo driver of Castlemaine. So much so, he may get a move done coming into Stowe. He's getting that slipstream off his teammate in P3 at the moment, but Max Chapman is struggling so much. This is not the true pace of him today.
What a run he's got out of there, and it may be a collision here in the Vale chicane. A big lock up there from Joel on the left-hand side, but he's managed to maintain the pace through there. And yeah, you're just saying Chapman has got no pace, and some sort of issue there from the mechanics at the Alfa Romeo garage, not having time to put the setup on.
Yeah, some sort of miscommunication there from the Alfa Romeo boys. And very sensibly, Castlemaine goes in front of Max Chapman. You know, he's really struggling out there, is Max Chapman. And so much so, both of the Ferraris have got past, and now his teammate. And no doubt, Joel Foxall coming into Brooklands, maybe even on the straight of the Wellington straight, he's going to get a move done.
Well, there was certainly a team order there as Chapman moves across to defend, but cannot do it with the setup. And akin to that of the incident here in Silverstone between Charles Leclerc and obviously Max Verstappen. There was a very slight issue there with a lockup from Chapman, which almost caused a collision with the Haas.
Yeah, that was very, very close between those two there. But Joel Foxall up into P4 now, getting past Max Chapman, but he's still very close to the back of Castlemaine in P3. So he's coming through Maggots and Beckett's now. Is he going to be able to get that move done coming into Stowe? I think he's a bit too far back, but he still does have that DRS on the Alfa Romeo, and Castlemaine does not.
Yeah, well, Joel Foxall's really got to prove the pace here as he comes down towards Stowe and into the Vale chicane. It's where we saw them almost collide last lap, but what can he do here coming onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight?
He's a bit too far back to make a move coming down into Vale. No risk coming here through Club. As you said, that incident between Magnussen and Alex Albon was a prime example of why you don't want any unnecessary risk coming into here. But turn one of Albi, incredibly easy for these guys, even with the incredibly high fuel. But Joel Fox not gaining enough down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight to get a move done coming into farm.
Is this an indication of the tyre wear on either of these cars, or is it just a lack of pace there from Foxall?
I mean, potentially, obviously, you know, they've qualified on these tyres, so that tyre wear is going to be elevated, and the soft tyres are softest they've brought to this weekend, so they could be struggling with tyre wear. There's a little lock up there from Joel Foxall. Again, coming into Brooklands, he really struggles with that, I think.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. I'm not too sure what's going on there. That may be one of the front runners, because it is Sector 2. Who is that? I'm not sure. I didn't see. I think that may be a Manny Graham who spun in the middle of the track. Yeah, he is, and he's been lapped, unfortunately, on that spin. And unfortunately, I think that may be something to do with the internet.
I'm not sure what's happened there, but he's actually left the session. As you said, that could be some sort of internet-related issue, and we'll hopefully be able to get him back. But yeah, that caused a yellow flag, as you said, in Sector 2. Could have hampered some people's laps.
Unfortunately, that's just the way online virtual racing is, as Joel Foxall gets a good run on the hanger straight towards Stowe, but he just doesn't have enough pace to overtake the Alfa Romeo of Meech.
Yeah, now that Castlemaine is in that clear A, he's looking incredibly quick, but coming onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight, no doubt Joel will have that DRS again, and coming into Albie, probably won't be able to get a move done, but, you know, that's a good advantage for him.
Talk us through his lap.
Yeah, coming through Abbey here, he's still a bit too far back from Castlemaine to get that move done, but, you know, in the mid part of the corner, he's gained a lot of time, and coming up to farm again, nice braking there from Joel, but a slight little lock up on that front right. He doesn't want to keep doing that because he's going to really lose a lot of tyre wear, and that's not good. He's on those soft tyres. He needs to run a significant amount into the race in order for his strategy to work. But you know, as I said, on the Wellington straight, he's got that DRS, but he's still a bit too far back from Castlemaine to get the move done into Brooklands and coming up to Luffield and Woodcote. Now it's all about that exit of the corner, you know, out of Luffield coming onto Woodcote here. It's really important to get a good exit. Joel Foxall looking pretty good, you know, with that higher fuel. It's pretty much it's a lot easier to get that traction and that good exit out of that corner.
Well, there is a train
coming through corner. Sorry,
there is a train beginning to perform behind them with all of the cars, the Red Bull, the Alfa Romeo, the Haas, all of them stuck through Magnussen Beckett's. But you were saying through Woodcote, such an important exit that is for Foxall.
Yeah, definitely. It's much easier for him to get the throttle planted in order with these much higher fuel in the race, but he's getting ever so closer to Castlemaine coming through Stowe there, but he's still a bit too far back.
We'll go ahead and look at his teammate down there in P10. He's quite isolated as well, coming into the Vale chicane.
Yeah, he's approaching, as you said, about that train. He's approaching that train, which at the moment, the back of that is Dylan Hartley. they're sort of in this DRS train, which we see a lot in Formula One, just because nobody can really overtake because they're not close enough. They've got that dirty air, but they still have that DRS, so they're still staying close to each other. But James Wilson, as you said, in P10, looking pretty lonely at the moment, but he's approaching that DRS chain.
Seems to be as soon as you get past the front of the head of the train, Max Chapman, you're in clean air and you just get away with it. We saw it with Foxhole, who's now chasing after his teammate. We saw it with Widdowson, who is now past Chapman and is a second in front. Is that sort of the case because he's holding up the people behind him?
Yeah, obviously he's in that free air, but Matthew Widdowson in P5 really benefiting from that free air. But yeah, I think Max Chapman is just really struggling. This lack of this lack of setup. Oh my, you can see that coming through Cops. He can hardly even go flat, losing so much of that exit curve. He's really struggling out there, and with this dirty air in front of him, it's only just gonna be churning up his tires.
Dylan Hartley tried to make a move there into Maggots and Beckett's, but unfortunately he couldn't get past. He was stuck on the outside, well, the inside of the first corner, but stuck on the outside for the other ones, and he just couldn't go in. And Ben Mitchell is out. I'm not too sure what that is at the back of the session. That could be a mechanical issue, but through the middle sector, it is a safety car. Safety car. We see the drivers coming to the pits. Oh, a lot of them cutting the grass just to get in. We'll see. We'll go on board with all of these drivers. The Haas of Salaman is coming in. Robinson's staying out. Welsh is coming in as well on the hard tyres. That's interesting. He could have gone for track position there, but interesting there from him. We also have Forbes in the pits, Rinser in the pits. Abreu hasn't actually made it. That's going to be absolutely amazing for Abreu. And Hammore down in P19. That's a shocker.
Yeah, this safety car caused by Ben Mitchell, by the looks of it, coming through Maggots and Beckett's. He's lost it. I couldn't quite see where the car ended up, but he completely lost it and has caused this safety car. Must have been a significant shunt for it to come out.
Well, I tell you what's gone on. Both of the Ferrari boys have not pitted. They've decided to go for and extend the track position, as well as Casper Meach. All of them staying out. So that's interesting.
That is definitely interesting, and they're all on those soft tyres. So those soft tyres were on lap 9, not going to be able to run for that much longer. So I don't know why they wouldn't take up the advantage of losing so much less time of pitting under a safety car. But we've seen the Ferrari strategy pay out in previous races, so I wonder if that will pay out this week.
Will be interesting, because when you're 1-2, you can definitely pull out an alternate strategy, but both of them deciding to go for that. But whilst we're here, we'll go and watch the race start replay, whilst there's nothing to miss out on. We see the drivers getting ready. Max Chapman, once again, slow start off the line. Both the Ferraris getting good. Widdowson going down the inside, but he just can't get it. And into turn 1, it was Titan in front with a beautiful overtake down the inside. A bit of wing missing. You did see that going across Hanmore with the missing wing into turn 3, coming down towards Farman Village. It was definitely the Ferrari boys who were in front.
Yeah, the Ferrari boys, very nice start for them. As you said, sandwiching that Alfa Romeo within the first few corners. Obviously, we can now confirm that Max Chapman has got an issue with his car, so that was probably why they got past so easily. But Torben, Schutt, Casper Meach, Titan, and I think Joel Foxall and the Jay and Josh have all come into the pits a lap later than everyone else. That just kept coming. There were so many more drivers coming into the pits, but by the looks of it, there was so much harsh braking coming into the pit entry that Jay Robinson went straight into the back of the McLaren of Josh O'Mara.
Oh no, that's not good. But one of the Ferraris is out. A double stack for the Ferraris. I really wonder what has been going through their mind to wait and to go for track position on the first lap of the safety car. Oh, perhaps they were past the pit entry.
Yeah, that's probably what has caused this. All these cars were pretty much at the front of the field with the likes of Casper Meach, Joe Foxall, and both of the Ferrari boys, as you said. So that's probably the case, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, that's going to really benefit the Renault of Middelfeld. He's stayed out on the medium tyre strategy. But Joel Foxall is stuck down in P15. He was also stuck back, but his teammate in P2.
Yeah, this has really played into the hands of lots of drivers out there. The likes of, as you said, Archie Minefeld, James Wilson, Andre Abreu, all on those medium tyres. So, they can go much further into the race.
Well, we talked about an underlying technical issue for the Williams drivers, and the man who is in P3, his teammate has just had to come into the pits and retire. We see him there pulling across into the old national pit lane. Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah, I think he's just been struggling with some real-world internet issues, which is a shame. He's really had not had a good run of it, has Amani Graham in that Williams, but Yeah, it's a shame for him. But, you know, it's good for the Williams teams nonetheless. As you said, Andre Bro up in P3 at the moment.
This safety car has definitely neutralized the field. We saw about a 6-second gap between P1 and P10 coming into the safety car. Now they're all but seconds apart.
Yeah, and another thing to bring up is I believe this is going to be Archie Middlefeld's first ever safety car start in the league, as the little notice at the bottom comes up for me and says safety car is in this lap. So that's going to be on the Renault driver's mind. It's going to be his first ever safety car restart, and I wonder how he'll get on with that.
Well, we saw him benefit from that last week. Oh, sorry, not him. We saw Joel Foxhall benefit from that last week when he had to restart the pack back in Austria. And that meant a podium for him in the end. It did say that he got his podium taken away from him, but he definitely did not. We went back as stewards and had a look at that. But Middelfeld is going to fire it into Club, and through the Vale chicane is Middelfeld, Wilson and Abreu who lead the race, and coming into turn 1, he's got such a good exit, Wilson there, and he's probably going to make a move into turn 1. There's a green flag at the rear of the pack, and the Williams has glossed out, but both the Haas drivers are getting an amazing restart. Widdowson on the hard tyre has maintained that position, and Chapman in P5 has lost that position to Widdowson, and in front, Abreu has made a move round the outside of Wilson, and he's just pushing him outside. However, Wilson has remained in front.
Yeah, coming through farm, I really thought that he was going to get that move done on James Wilson, but he was a bit too far back. But now coming through Brooklands, he was going to always spun that Haas.
Oh, what a save there from the Haas. What a save there from the Haas. The Abreu Williams just turned in on him, and he closed the gate. Definitely illegal there from that driver, closing the gate. But imagine being able to save that. What a beautiful save from the Haas.
Yeah, very lucky there from the Haas driver to save that. But I thought Andre was going to get a move done on James Wilson, but he's a significant amount back now. Archie Middlefield had a pretty decent start, but James Wilson, even by the first corner, you know, he was so close to that Renault driver.
We talk about them having an amazing start, yet the top 3 positions have not pitted yet, so that could be very detrimental to their race. Meach has managed to get past Forbes, who is currently in his starting position, and back in the middle, there's a 4-wide situation. Who's that? That's Forbes has gone by. We talked about him. Once again, the kiss of death.
Oh no, Forbes. I didn't see the incident on my screen, but it looks like Forbes has, retired from the race. That's a real shame.
Casper Meach has come on the inside of Titan, and he's gonna have to give that position back. He's completely closed the gate there on Titan. That was well, sorry, I think, was that Titan or was it I'm not too sure, but that was unsafe from that driver.
Looks like Titan has got front wing damage, so it could definitely have been him. This front right end plate completely knocked off. We are under virtual safety car conditions, so no overtaking at the moment.
Yeah, virtual safety car there because of that incident that happened with Forbes. We've got it on replay, so we will go ahead and show you it once again. But these drivers just going 4 wide down the hangar straight is definitely what caused that. He had his left tyres pushed out onto the grass, which caused him to lose the entire car across the hangar straight.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Adam Forbes. You know, he had an incredible qualifying performance from my opinion, and it's a shame to see him out of the race. That's such a shame for the McLaren driver. And
Middelfeld still leads, but like we said, the top 3 have not pitted, and somehow Chapman is P4. By de facto, he's net P1, even with his damage.
Yeah, I don't know how he's managed that. Maybe one of the first drivers to pit under the safety car conditions. You know, it's all about that track position. He may have just been in the right place at the right time. But as you said, P4 at the moment with all the front 3 yet to pit. He's looking strong.
The Red Bull gets past the other one with the team orders there from that Red Bull garage. And down into the chicane, we see Salaman coming into the pits.
Salomon in P12, now P13, falling down the order. He's on those hard tyres. So I'm surprised to see him pit this early, but maybe Haas going for a different strategy this week. Yeah,
could be an alternate strategy as we see him come into the pits. And now he is plumb last as Dylan Hartley rounds the club chicane coming towards the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. So interesting, you lose about 50 to 40 seconds here in the pit lane, but it's a drive-through. That's what it is. It's a drive-through.
He's gone straight past his pit box, so he is serving some sort of penalty. I'm not too sure why he's received that by the looks.
It could have been to do with the virtual safety car.
Yeah, it's probably an infringement under that. It's quite easy to get a warning or a penalty under the safety car, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, Titan and Shut, the 2 people who would definitely be, well, definitely up there. They were up there at the start of the race. now P11 and P13.
Yeah, that safety car did not play into their hands at all. It played into several other drivers' hands, but not theirs. You know, the front runners were, I think, they must have been past the pit exit and just weren't able to pit under those safety car conditions.
Go ahead and talk us through Foxhole. He's now P10.
Yeah, Foxwell down in P10. He's a little bit behind Casper Meach in about a second. He hasn't got that DRS, but Charlie Torbenshire behind him has got that DRS. So coming through Stowe, he was getting very close to making a move there. But yeah, he's within the DRS range of Casper Meach now, but obviously no DRS down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight at the moment.
Yeah, well, it used to be a thing
yeah.
back there. Down the pit straight, there used to be a DRS, but unfortunately, no more for these drivers as they come through the first sector into the second sector and down the Wellington straight.
Yeah, no more DRS down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight, as you said, but Torbenshire is getting incredibly close to the back of Joel Foxwell, so much so that he's having to defend coming into Brooklands. But has Torbenshire got the move done? I don't think he has. Oh, he has. He's getting very close coming through Luffield and Woodcote now. He's got the move done there through Luffield. Nicely done from the Ferrari driver. But, you know, coming onto the Wellington straight, sorry, the Hangar straight coming up towards so just after Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel, he's going to have that DRS on the Ferrari now. So we'll have to see if he can get the move back done on him.
Those two DRS straights are going to be imperative for this driver, who is on the yellow marked medium tyres, which is a different tyre compound to a couple of the drivers who are on the hards.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about strategy now, especially with these safety cars that have been out. Obviously, Joel Foxwell in P11 has pit, but he's gone onto those medium tyres. So we'll have to see if he can make the end of the race on those tyres. He may have committed himself to a two-stop strategy unless he has incredible tyre wear. But coming into the Vale chicane, he broke so late, making a move on Nados, potentially coming through Club. It's going to get very close. Another Red Bull fighting through Club, but looks like Nados went a bit wide there. But coming through Abbey now, it's going to be even closer, but the Red Bull does back off very sensibly by the looks of it.
Well, if you're on the inside of Abbey, you basically have got the position. There's no way you could go around the outside into there. But we will, just for a second, go ahead and look at what happened to Adam Forbes. So, yeah, there was some battling coming down the straight. We're just a little bit early there coming through Maggots and Beckett's in just a second. Oh, apologise, no, we're down the Wellington, sorry, the Hangar straight. And Adam Forbes making a move around the outside, goes onto the grass, which pulls him all the way across.
Ouch, yeah, that was a big one there. He touched the grass and the tyres didn't like it at all and he completely spun. That was a big crash for the McLaren driver there.
And obviously the stewards decided it was too big to clean up in just a few laps, so he was out. And that meant there was a safety car, and another person who is out is Robbie Welsh. He's just lost it, and I'm not too sure what that is. There is a yellow flag in Sector 2, no safety car as of now. Robinson has just gone past the body. We'll see if we can get him through Maggots and Beckett's. We don't see the car. Amara's just gone past it. We'll go on board with Salomon to see if the car is there.
Yeah, I think the marshals may have cleaned it up very quickly. I didn't see the car of Ben Mitchell either when he had his incident, so I'm not sure if that's an issue coming through Maggots and Beckett's. You know, it's obviously very wide, lots of runoff coming through here, just because of how fast the corners are, but I couldn't see the car.
It looked like he went off in a similar place to where Kvyat went off this year, because as we looked at the timing screens, his name went past through Beckett's. So that's interesting there for those drivers, and possibly an indication of the tyre wear.
Yeah, potentially. It's a shame to see Robbie Welsh out. Obviously, he was going on that alternate strategy, starting on those hard tyres. Would have been interesting to see how that would have played out for him. But out of the race for him at the moment. But Andre Abreu has managed to promote himself to P1, getting past both Archie Widderfeld and James Wilson. But, of course, the caveat is he's still yet to pit.
Well, you say that he is the leader, but it's really Chapman right now who is net P1, followed by Widderson. He's only ever been P3 at the Kenco F1 races, and that was back in Barcelona when Joel Foxor and Casper Knopp unfortunately were removed from the session.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Jay Robinson down in P13 currently has the fastest lap. Obviously in P13 he won't get that extra World Championship point, but he's still stealing it from any of the top runners, so that's good effort there from the AlphaTauri driver. But it's going to be really interesting to see as they come into the pits. I was just about to say it'll be interesting to see when Andre Abreu pits, but both Andre Abreu and James Wilson have now come into the pit lane.
And that means Middelfeld is now P1, but like we said, he will not be there for long as Chapman overtakes Abreu coming through the pits.
Yeah, it's all about the pit stop strategy now. Obviously, the top runners weren't pitting, but now they come into the pits. We'll have to see how that plays out for them, what sort of position they'll come back out in. Obviously, much further down than they were on previously, but Casamit just managed to steal that fastest lap away from Jay Robinson.
And now back in P13, P14, the only two drivers who are coming through the pits currently. And they're behind Josh O'Mara, who is into P12. It could be a possibility of points for him today.
Yeah, potentially. You know, he's in P12, only 2 points. Sorry, only 2 places out of the points today. So that's definitely could be a good target for the McLaren driver. But very interestingly, Casamit just managed to cut through the field so much. He's in P4. You know, he's on those medium tyres. He knows his teammates really struggling with his setup. So this could be a really good chance for him to potentially get a sneaky little win today.
Well, with that incident with Titan, we've heard from the stewards that he's actually under investigation, and after the race, we'll have to see whether he will get a time penalty or any sort of incursions because of that incident with Titan, which caused Titan to lose wing and had to change the wing in the pits.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear, actually. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But nonetheless, he's looking strong on the racetrack at the moment. So we'll have to see where you can get a move done.
Remember, just because they're under investigation does not mean that they are penalised. And someone who was penalised, Salaman, somehow managed to stay in front of Hartley. I'm not too sure what happened to Dylan. He's all the way plumb last.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Dylan. He's looked like, according to my time stream, he has pit twice. So that's probably what has caused him to be so far back. You know, most of the field, other than Thomas Salomon and himself, has pit either once or not at all in that of Archie Middlefeld. Still in P1 at the moment.
Is Middlefeld possibly going to the end so he can get the soft tyres as Torben Schutt easily makes it past Alex Rinser?
Yeah, that's going to be a really tall order for the Renault driver, I think. But if he can pull that off, it could be good. But he's only got a 3-second advantage over Max Chapman at the moment, so that won't be enough, probably. At the moment, we'll have to see if he can gain any more time. But it won't be enough to go to the end and get those soft tyres on it and get that track position back.
Well, I mean, Max definitely, even with the penalties, has half a second gap. We see on board with Torben Schutt, the 3 drivers in front being held up by Max Chapman, and Torben Schutt, that is, won last week's race. He said he can do it again, and this is possibly a glimpse of this.
Yeah, potentially. Coming through Stowe, it's getting incredibly close between the Alfa Romeo driver, Max Chapman, and Matthew Widdowson coming up to the fail chicane. He's still a bit too far back to make a move on the Alfa Romeo driver, as I said. But, yeah, very interesting that Max Chapman, and to be honest, I'm really surprised that Matthew Widdowson, with all these issues that Max is currently dealing with, he hasn't been able to get a move done. It's just incredible that Max Chapman has been able to adapt to the current setup he is running.
Casper here coming into the second corner into the hairpin of Village and Farm. He is right hot on Widdowson's tail. He's got a better exit down the Hanger Straight. Sorry, the Wellington Straight. And they're so close there into Brooklands, but it does look like he's in front.
Yeah, little look up there from the Haas driver coming through Luffield now. Is he going to be able to get the move back? No, he really lost a lot of speed there coming through Luffield. And Woodcut, he's managed to get the move done very easily with about a half a second advantage already.
Well, now here's where the Alfa Romeo driver of Chapman pulls over and lets the other Alfa Romeo driver past in order to hold up the cars behind him. However, it did look as though Casper actually forced Widdowson out wide for that position. I mean, it's racing, so these boys have got to get used to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think going back to that point you just made with the potential team orders, that will be very sensible for the Alfa Romeo boys, considering the issues that Max is facing. It's a real shame that it's come to this. You know, we want to see real raw racing, but it's a shame that Max Chapman's having his issues at the moment.
Torben Schutt has managed to beat Widdowson into that corner and is in P4. Middlefeld is in the pit, so Chapman and Meach are going to get in ahead of him. And Torben Schutt is currently P3. Now is where the team orders become a thing.
Definitely, and Archie Middlefeld into the pits finally. He's getting rid of those medium tyres that are now 20 laps old. He's going to have those 6 laps to the end, probably to go onto the softs. We'll keep an eye on that. But Matthew Widdowson really falling through the order. The Red Bull driver, Alex Ritz, are really close behind him now, leading on to the Wellington Straight.
Now we're seeing the where the medium tyres are supposedly coming a better strategy than the hard tyres, and into Brooklands. Meech is in front.
Yeah, Meech in front now. You know, he's going to want to get a significant amount ahead of his teammate, potentially with that penalty coming from the stewards, but we'll keep an eye on that one. No confirmation on that as of yet. But yeah, that was a sensible decision from the Alfa Romeo team.
Go ahead and talk us through Shut. What can he do in order to get in front of the Alfa Romeos?
Well, Schut coming through Maggots and Beckett's here, you know, he knows that Max is dealing with these issues. I mean, coming through Chapel alone, he's gained so much time on the Alfa Romeo drive. He's going to get that DRS now. Matthew Widdowson, I believe, also has that DRS. So he's got to keep that in mind. You know, he's got to look behind as well as in front. But you can just see how much time he's gaining on Max Chapman. He's getting so much more speed through the corners there, through Stowe. It was very apparent. Maybe just more downforce he's carrying on the car. Which is really giving him that advantage coming through the Vale chicane. He got very, very late on the brakes and gained so much time as well. So I think he's going to get this move done pretty easily, potentially coming up towards Brooklands after the DRS zone on the Wellington Straight. We'll have to see.
Max has definitely been told to hold the car behind up because we saw him going so slow there through the Vale chicane. Hence why the teammate Meech has managed to pull out half a second.
Yeah, that's a good strategy as well. You know, he is currently acting as a rear gunner for Casper Meech, just holding off this Ferrari, but he's not going to be able to do it for much longer as he sort of breezes past that Alfa Romeo. Ferrari on Ferrari power, of course, coming through Brooklyn. So Max Chapman does fight it. They get very, very close through the middle part of the corner, through Luffield now. Torben Schut has got it done quite easily.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it does come down to this time penalty, Torben Schut is in another position for a P1 finish.
Yeah, Torben Schut seems to be making a habit of this, you know, being in the right place at the right time, but they're coming through Cop's corner. He was gaining a lot of time on Casamich. I really do think he's got some really good pace out there, actually, coming from Magnus and Beckett's. I think his Ferrari is working much better than that Alfa Romeo ahead of him.
How much of a difference does setup make? Clearly, Max Chapman, who's normally in front by about, well, half a minute, 10 seconds, he is, well, he's behind by a significant margin.
Yeah, I think it's playing in, setup is so important, playing into the hands of those that have one. Obviously, Max Chapman not currently running a setup with an issue with his car, but you can see, you know, this is completely uncharacteristic of Max Chapman as we know him. He's incredibly quick on a race day, and yeah, the team in P3 really struggling to keep that position, fighting off the hassle of Matthew Widdowson is not like him at all, so it just shows how important a good setup is.
Well, we see there, Casper Meech, obviously he is not running ABS, and we saw him struggle back in France when ABS was turned off for the qualifying session. And Torben Schut, who is running ABS off, he is gaining so much into the corners because they're just able to brake so much harder.
Yeah, definitely. A little look up there, as you said, that going to Brooklands, but overall, yeah, he's much more aggressive on the brakes, very similar to that of Daniel Ricciardo, you know, the last of the late breakers as we know him. But Casper Meech has gained a pretty significant margin there coming out of the Woodcote corner over the Ferrari driver. So it's pretty even at the moment, but, you know, we have to keep saying this, we have to keep mentioning, obviously Casper Meech is under investigation, so we don't know what sort of penalty he could potentially be receiving. That's going to be obviously on his mind.
At the back of the pack, Hartley has managed to make it past Salomon. Not like it matters or anything because there are no points, but Amara only one position outside the points.
Yeah, this could be really good for Amara if he's managed to get into the points. He's 4 laps left in the race. You know, this is really flown by. I'm surprised about that, but he's 5 seconds off Ian Hanmore in P10. Been quite a hectic race, so if there's an incident in the front 10, then he could potentially get a few sneaky points in, but we shall have to see. He's looking strong in P11 though, as you said.
Well, we'll see the consequences of the actions of Casper Meech against Titan. We saw Titan was up there, P1 and P2. Titan's now P8.
Yeah, he had to obviously, I think he's actually still dealing with this front wing damage. I don't think he decided to come in and pit again. I could be wrong with that, but he's obviously really struggling. He was so quick at the start of the Grand Prix, as you said, but just really falling off now with potential damage still running on his car. Yeah,
it's unfortunate for that driver, but his teammate is only 10ths behind, 3 laps to go.
Wow, it's going to be very close for him. You know, he knows that there's this potential penalty for him, for Casper Meech that is, but getting it done on the racetrack is so important for his self-confidence. So he's going to want to get the move done. It's getting incredibly close again through Cops. He's gaining so much time on the Alfa Romeo. He's able to carry so much more speed through the corner.
Chapman has managed to do an amazing job to stay in P3 despite the damage to his car.
Yeah, Chapman in P3 still managing to fend off that of Matthew Widdowson. He is really struggling to get past this Alfa Romeo, even with the lack of setup.
And Joel Foxhall making a move now on Alex Rinser down into down into Stowe. Into Vale he goes, and he's in front.
Yeah, nicely done there from the Racing Point driver. It's been a pretty quiet drive for him, other than the first few laps after him losing out under the safety car conditions, not being able to pit, of course. But he's managed to get himself back up to P5. Will he be able to get a few overtakes done on the final few laps? We'll have to see, of course.
Well, I'll tell you one that you need to watch now. Coming into Farm and into Village, Torben Schutt is but 10s behind Casper Meach. Is this a strategy in order to get the DRS and wait till the final lap in order to make a pounce or a move on the Alfa Romeo?
Potentially, obviously coming through Village there, but Casper Meach looks like he's got a much better exit. But as you said, Torben Schutt is going to have this DRS coming into Brooklands, maybe still a bit too far back. But if we think further into the lap, there's going to be more DRS zones. Maybe this could be the lap he gets the move done. We'll have to see. But it's so close between these two at the moment.
I'll tell you what, when we did go on board, we'll go on board again. We see him there using his ERS just in increments. He's 80% of that is left, so he's able to make a move. We go on board with Casper Meach. He's only got 20% left, so he can't fend out of the corners.
He is using so much more ERS compared to Torben Schutt. And as we approach Maggots, it's getting even closer. The closest it's ever been. If we think now, coming through Chapel, coming onto the hangar straight, the final straight leading up to the Stowe. He's going to have this DRS. Is this going to be the time he gets the move done? Casper Meach pulls to the side, defending the inside line. And Torben Schutt does get the move done into Stowe.
And he's in front. Now is his chance to run away with it because he needs to be a second in front.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to get out of that DRS zone. Otherwise, Casper Meach will easily be able to breeze past him again. He's looking good at the moment. About 3/10 in the few corners that he's got in front of him. He's looking good. Torben Schutt has managed to get that move done on the racetrack. That's so important for him.
Is it now a possibility that we see Meach try to drop back and let Chapman pass with the penalty that he has? Or penalty he could have?
Potentially, Max Chapman is about 3 seconds behind him. So he's going to no doubt be focusing still on this fight with Torben Schutt. They're still very close. In fact, coming through Village, they're incredibly close. And now, Casper Meach is going to have that DRS. But again, just seems the car in front, the car with the clean air, is getting much better exits coming out of Village.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the dirty air of these 2020 cars. Obviously, that's all being changed in 2022, but we're going to have to live with that for this season.
Yeah, definitely. It just shows how much dirty air there is coming off the rear of these cars. But still, Casper Meach is still so close to the back of this Ferrari driver coming through Copse Corner once again. It looks like Charlie he's got it under control. You know, we've seen him go so much quicker through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel in that Ferrari. Maybe that set up just more tuned to these very high-speed corners compared to the Alfa Romeo.
Well, he's got a good exit, and now is where he uses the DRS, and the rear wing opens to give him 7 kilometers extra down that pit straight. He's using all of the ERS we see by the overtake button, which flashes the red lights, but there's still no gap. 8/10 now between the top two drivers, and Widdowson's managed to get past Chapman finally.
Widdowson has managed to get that move done coming into Stowe, but you know, the most important fight on the track at the moment for P1, obviously Torben Schutt has got a significant amount more ERS compared to the Alfa Romeo driver. He's using so much to be aggressive in order to fight the Renault. But we're on the final lap now. It's going to be so close. It's going to be very few opportunities now for Casper Meach to get that move back done.
Go ahead and talk us through the fight that's about to happen. Torben Schutt has got a much better exit here coming through Village.
Yeah, once again, that incredible exit from Torben Schutt coming through Village in that cleaner air. But Casper Meach has got that DRS, one of the potential last opportunities for him to get an overtake done. Coming through Brooklands, he's a bit too far back, and you know, coming through Lufford, we're going to expect him to have that good exit once again, is Torben Schutt, and he's using that exit curb very nicely in order to get a good amount of speed coming out of the corner. But now we approach the Copse Corner once again. That Ferrari looks so good coming through there. Casper Meach actually touches a bit of the grass that's going to really affect his tyres coming through there, and I think he could be too far back coming through Maggots and Beckett's now. Torben Schutt once again really commanding through those corners. As we approach the hangar straight, Casper Meach once again hits the grass, maybe a bit too wide coming out of Chapel. He's got that DRS, but he's 8/10 back. He's probably too far back to get a move done now into Stowe.
think you're right. And Torben, sure, what a commanding victory this would be if he could just bring it all the way home. Remember, the Formula 1, we gave the kiss of death to Titan, who looks like he would have won it. But Torben Schutt coming round the final corner. He's coming through club. He did it last week. He does it again in Silverstone. Wow. Casper Meech behind him, and Widderson in P3. He maintains his position. Behind them is Foxhall and Chapman, and Rinter actually manages to get in front of them for one reason or another, but that could be the same as last week. Robinson P8, Titan is in P7, Abreu up to P8 for some reason or another. I think the leaderboards are messing, but Josh Amara could have a chance.
Yeah,
no,
so close.
So close for Josh.
That was a shame for Josh. Obviously, P11 so close to those points today. But yeah, as you said, twice in a row, Torben Schutt, a great and commanding victory for him, and managing to get past Casamich on one of the final laps. Nicely done for him.
Well, I tell you what, go vote for your driver of the day. Exclamation mark DOTD in the chat. Kenco.tv.uk/vote in order to get to vote for your driver of the day. I don't know who I'm going to vote for today because that was a good race. Well, we talked to you last week, Charlie, about your victory, and just 1 week ago, you said, well, I may be able to do it if the situation is right, and today you've done it again.
Yeah, it was quite incredible, I have to say. Like, me and Grisler, we were leading at the start of the race. Then the safety car came out. That completely hurt our race. I was in P18 after the safety car restart. And then I don't know. I was just like, I've got nothing to lose right now, and I'm just gonna keep on fighting. And yeah, I've managed to work my way up through the field, and it was a lot of fun. And very happy that I won today.
What did you think to the last couple laps of racing with Casper?
Yeah, it was very tactical duel that we have, I would say. It was a lot about like managing ERS, and I knew that if I could just stay in his DRS for long enough, then he might be getting like out of ERS, and then I have a chance to get him. And I think that's what kind of happened in the end there.
Well, you'd be correcting your assumption. You know, he had 4% ERS on that last lap compared to your 50.
Yeah, I really was trying to save it just to to have a little bit of a defense as well during the last 2 laps.
I want a word on the incident that happened between your teammate and Casper, which caused the damage. Obviously, that meant he had to he had to sustain it for the rest of the 11 laps were left.
Unfortunately, I couldn't quite see it. I saw that there was contact ahead of me, but I was just in a tunnel. I was just focused so much, so I wasn't really looking too much at the incident. But yeah, well, I'm gonna have a look at the replay for sure.
I think it worked out for you, and well done for you today, Charlie.
Thank you.
What a race that was for Charlie, Sam.
Yeah, definitely. That's incredible. 2 weeks in a row now, he's managed to get a really impressive victory. I wonder if that's going to move on through the league. We'll have to see.
Well, one person who did manage to, for somehow, fight his way back through the field, even though he did not pit on the safety car, was Andre. You had a good race today, Andre.
Yes, indeed, I had. It was really fun. I had a lot of overtakes. I don't know if you got the around the outside of Archie. That was probably one of the best moves I've ever had. Because of penalties, I got P8. I'm really happy with that. And yeah, I wasn't expecting mainly because I spun like twice. So
Well, what does that mean for you in the Constructors' Championship? And what actually happened to your teammate? Was it a lingering issue that happened last week?
Um, what happened was that first of all, let's just start with superstructures. I don't know if it means much. I haven't looked at it yet. So I didn't know the team ahead. Probably they were ahead by a mile because Williams didn't have good luck until now. Um, but and about a question about my teammates. What happened was that he had so I spun, he hit me, and then he just kept on going, pitted. Everything was fine. Then F1 being F1, he just died.
Well, very descriptive, very descriptive recall of events. I don't know what to quite call that, but is it possible that that incident between you and him meant that there was a little bit of anger there?
No, it was kind of fine. He wasn't really taking it very seriously because it was P20 and I was, to be honest, after that, after both those spins, I wasn't expecting much as well. But I did some setup adjusting during the race and it went all back, and here I am, P8. I don't know.
Well, it's a good recovery drive from you, Andre, and we'll hope to see you on the podium or wherever you may be seen.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Well,
Sam, what a race today. Ferrari once again the victor.
Yeah, great race. Round Silverstone always does prove to be an incredible track. But yeah, it's really good to see Torben shut up in P1. Obviously, I think Max Chapman would have also been very much up there if he hadn't had those issues with his setup. But yeah, once again, an incredible race full of great racing.
Well, we'll see you same place, same time next week. See you later, guys.